This is going to be a very big week. I have to prepare for an oral examination for my Masters in Clinical Psychology course. So I'm just gonna share with you how it goes, because I've never done one of these before and I really don't know what to expect. Just gonna take a moment to catch you up because quite a lot's happened since I last vlogged. I got through those 2 case formulations that I was finding a bit difficult. It was kind of a stressful week and I just decided not to film it because I was a little bit burnt out and I just needed to focus on it and get it done. Now I've got one more assignment due on Friday and it's a treatment plan for the child psychopathology course and I'm feeling pretty good about getting that done. But yeah, things this week are a little bit different because today is a Wednesday. Today is also the last day of our child psychopathology course, so I think it's kind of like the end of semester 1. But to be very honest, I've lost track of semesters and terms. The only thing I do know is that I'm not even halfway through my first placement for the clinic. That's the only thing I'm kind of keeping track of. There's no real breaks in the clinical psychology masters. It's not like undergrad. It's just a constant stream of work, but it's manageable work. So yeah, I think I've caught you up with the main highlights. I'll tell you more about the oral presentation later on. If I was to summarize April, I would say that it's just been this constant stream of assignments where we've had something due every single week. Everyone's feeling kind of tired and it's a lot to juggle alongside the work at the clinic. It's really hard. I think something that we're all trying to practice is a bit of self-compassion, so trying to be kinder to ourselves, just trying to take everything in step by step. But the great thing about doing a clinical psych masters is that your peers are psychologists and your teachers are psychologists. So there's a really high level of understanding and self-awareness and reflection that I don't think you get from many other courses at uni. I want to quickly say thank you so much for all the feedback in my previous video about things that you found helpful for this vlog, and I'm going to do a quick spiel about the assignment that I have coming up because it's very relevant to working in the clinic as a psychologist. So the first part of this assignment, I had to do a case formulation, so that was where I diagnosed a child. I assessed them as having separation anxiety disorder. So in the second part of the assignment, we have to formulate a treatment plan. There are lots of manuals out there for treatment plans. And the one that I'm really familiar with is this one by Robert Lee and Stephen J. Holland, Treatment Plans and Interventions for Depression and Anxiety Disorders. Annoyingly, it's for adults because adults is what I have the most experience with. So while I was doing my research for this assignment, I discovered a manual called Coping Cat, which I really liked when I looked into it. All the techniques based off CBT. So after doing all that back research, I've now gotten to the point where I need to write this up. And I still probably need to do a little bit more research to refine it, but now I actually have to write up everything and make it make sense. So for a treatment plan, what I would normally do is I'd have a little introduction explaining why CBT is the best. For separation anxiety disorder, what's the evidence backing it up? Present my case. And then what I'm probably gonna do, just to make it really clear for my reader, is insert a table outlining my sessions. So session 1, I'll probably do session 1 to 3, session 4 to 5, and then just explaining what these sessions will be in accordance to the manual. So I know via the Coping Cat manual, the first session is rapport building, the second session is psychoeducation. This type of therapy has 2 phases. The first phase focuses on teaching the skills, and the second phase focuses on putting the skills into practice. So I just want to outline that for my reader. When I'm doing a treatment plan for my clients in the clinic, I don't go into this level of detail. I just stick to a short little graph similar to what I've created. But yeah, in the clinic, for this assignment, our lecturer wanted us to give examples of what this would look like, what skills we'd be teaching to target the presenting problem. So I'll then go into more detail, give an example of psychoeducation. But hopefully you get the gist. So key take home with treatment plan is you find a manual for your client and then you use said manual. In this they've got examples of treatment plans for a particular disorder, and they go through different techniques you can use and how you might map out your treatment over the course of 16 sessions, and they give you lots of examples of how you could do that. But yeah, back to this. So the second part of the assignment, ethical, interprofessional and cultural considerations. The way that I'm going to tackle this is by referring to the good old APS Code of Ethics. Quickly grab that. Which they've also updated, and I do know about this, but I know it's not going to be released until the end of 2025. It's already been released, I've seen it, but it's not going to take effect until the end of 2025. But yeah, essentially, what I'm going to do for this assignment is just go through this thoroughly and consider any ethical issues in relation to my client case. I can consider interprofessional dilemmas. I can also consider cultural. This client is an Indigenous Australian, so a text that I can use to inform me for this is the ethical guidelines for the provision psychological services for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So things to consider working with these people from a cultural standpoint. So these are the two texts that I'm going to use to help me write this up. I only have 1,000 words to do this in, which isn't a lot. I think it's good to have a really good idea of what you're doing and why, and then writing it up is kind of the easier part, but sticking to 1,000 words is tough. It's pretty early in the morning. I didn't film anything last night because honestly I was so tired, and I decided to prioritize sleep instead of working on the assignment, so that I'd be fresh for today. We don't have any clients today, but we are allowed to go into the clinic to do our notes or client prep or stuff like that. Decided to go in, do a bit of that, and also work on this assignment and just try and smash it all out. It's due tomorrow. It's not a particularly hard assignment. I have faith I can get it done, but gosh, because tomorrow's a public holiday, we've got a 3-day weekend. There's part of me that wants to slow down and relax, and then there's part of me that is like, no, I've got all this assessment that I've got to smash through and I've got to get it done. So it's a really weird place to be. So I just finished what feels like the longest day ever. I got so much work done, and yet I still have so much to do. I made good headway on the assignment and got the difficult parts done, but I still need to finish. It's due tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And then I did a huge chunk of admin for the clinic. I'm really tired. This is just the reality. So it's like 9 o'clock now. We've progressed into the evening. I'm tired and I don't feel like doing work. But life is not about doing what you feel like. Life is about pushing through and doing the thing that's hard to get to where you want to be. So that's why on what feels like a Friday night, I'm sitting down to finish this assignment, get it done and dusted. From now until tomorrow at 5 p.m, I'm just gonna update you on the progress of me trying to get this done. So you can see 9 or 5 p.m. I'm not gonna show you the assignment, but I've done some good stuff. I need to flesh out the treatment plan a little bit more. Just got back from the gym, needed to get energized for today's study sesh. I've also found a way to reframe studying on a public holiday. Thank goodness I get this day off to do this assignment, and I don't need to be at the clinic, and I can spend today finishing off this assignment. How lucky am I? And yeah, thinking about it like that really helps. So really vibing my study space, laptop, iPad, got some bone broth, water, all set. The time now is 9 a.m. on the dot, so let's do this. Taking a short break to grab this healthy hot chocolate. It's like cacao infused with botanicals or something like that. 1/3 to 1/4 of this assignment left. Going strong. I'm pretty proud of my progress. It's now 11:36 and the ethical, interprofessional and cultural considerations section all done. I'm nearly there. I took a lunch break. I'm so close to getting this done. I just did it. I finished the assignment 2 hours before the deadline, 3 o'clock. Such a good feeling. A lot has happened. We've moved to today's Sunday. I did take some time off on Friday. I did have a bit of a break after I submitted that assignment, and then I just chilled out on Saturday and started prepping for the next piece of assessment, which is due on Wednesday. So I thought I'd take a minute to just explain that, because I think it's quite an interesting assignment. It's an oral presentation that I have to give to my lecturer an hour before the presentation. We'll get an email with a hypothetical case, and we have to spend that hour working out. Let me just pull up my laptop. Objective structured clinical examination. So within that set period of time, we have to detect clues, consider cultural factors, work out what psychometrics we use, consider the ethics and the risk, basically kind of form a bit of an assessment, and then a case formulation. So what are the things that, what are the 5 Ps? What disorder do we think they have? And what sort of treatment would we use to help them? And then there's other things, I guess my lecturer will be looking at, like how open am I to receiving feedback or constructive criticism? Is my presentation clear and concise? Hopefully it will be. So that's what the OSCE is, and that's what I'm preparing for now. It's kind of weird, but compared to all the other assessment pieces, I actually feel kind of okay about this one. Obviously it's like, I don't know if I'll feel different on Wednesday, but this is just something that seems, in a way, kind of fun. I'm guessing that the case he gives us could have a comorbid presentation, or it could fit one diagnosis or another one, and it'll be hard to flesh out which one the client fits into the most. I really don't know what to expect. I have no idea. So I'll show you how I'm preparing for this assignment. This is my whole DSM-5 TR summaries that I've been chipping away at throughout the series of this vlog. As you can see, it's still not finished. If there's a colored dot, it means I've thoroughly read it, taken some notes, included some stuff about the etiology and the models. If it's blank, it means that I either haven't taken any notes or only taken a few and it's not sufficient. The things that I'm reading, the things that are really helping, I reference this book so much, but it's called The DSM-5 Made Easy by James Morrison, and it's just the best book ever. It's so helpful because he gives you a hypothetical case and then he tells you how he would diagnose it, and I'm pretty sure he's a psychiatrist. So for every single disorder, I like to go back and read what it was like in the DSM-5 Made Easy to see what it would look like in real life. And then I like to cross-check that with reading the DSM-5, and our lecturer has given us some additional readings for the disorders, so I try and read a bit of that too. And the other thing I've been doing to prep for this is just going through my lecturer's notes. It's a nice, good summary. It makes a lot more sense now reading it after reading through all the readings that we needed to do. So yeah, I'm making my way through it. Yesterday I focused a lot on depressive disorders. I think MDD would be an interesting one for him to give us, because MDD can be extremely complex in the way that it presents. People can have a lot of other comorbid or other symptoms that could reference another disorder attached to MDD that develop. And then this morning I've been going through all the anxiety disorders, which I think anxiety is kind of my sweet spot. I feel pretty comfortable with anxiety disorders. The things I really need to go over, which I'm going to try for this afternoon, is OCD and bipolar, especially bipolar. I find bipolar a little bit confusing, especially distinguishing between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. And I also want to go back over schizophrenia, because again, this is something that I just find a little bit trickier. I've got this afternoon, I've technically got all of tomorrow, but I do have group supervision in the middle of the day, which always messes my day up a little bit. And then on Tuesday, I am working all day, so unlikely to do a lot then, but I'll still try. So today I'm going to focus on reading. Tomorrow I'm going to mix things up. If I take a moment to reflect, probably the biggest take home from studying adult psychopathology has been that labels can be really helpful for detecting clues about a person and informing a treatment plan to make sure I'm providing the best support to a client. And in this sense, it's been
really helpful to go deeper into the DSM-5 TR and take my time to read up about different presentations and try really hard to read all of it, although I never think I will. But the other part to it too that I've learned from working as a psychologist is that it's so important not to make assumptions about a person. First impressions actually don't always tell you that much. I think it's really important to take your time with getting to know someone, because people are good at masking stuff or hiding stuff, or sometimes not even aware of what they're struggling with. So I think it's kind of like a balance of using the DSM-5 TR as a framework, but not rushing into an assumption.
Tuesday morning, I'm at work, I'm on my lunch break. In exactly 24 hours, I will be walking into my professor's office. I don't really feel nervous about it at the moment. Like, there's not really a lot I can do to prepare other than read over my notes and kind of go through the DSM, but I feel pretty good about it. I kind of can't wait to get it done. And the main strategy I'm using at this point now to help prepare for it, there's two things. The first is to just read over cases of hypothetical clients and work out what I would assess them as having. The other thing I've been doing is actually just taking a huge step back from work and resting. It recently hit me that I've just been in a bit of a state of just constant work, or feeling the need to constantly work. And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. I need to just step out of this for a minute and actually just let myself do relaxing things. So I've been also making time for that, and that's really helped as well. Well, this is it. This is the morning of the OSCE, and I'm wearing like a turtleneck hair up. I've gone for a psychologist look. I'm going into uni. I'm going to go to the library and I'm just going to do a bit of reading there. Wait for the paper to come through at exactly 10:50, which will give me 1 hour to read it and prepare what I'm going to say to my professor about the case, and then 10 minutes to walk to his office to present it to him. So yeah, off I go.
Before I tell you what the case was, I just want to take a moment to share that my surprise for this case was because it related to an area I'm really passionate about, and that's women's health. For females assigned at birth, our bodies go through a lot of hormonal changes that just aren't spoken about, not just pregnancy if one chooses to become pregnant, but also things like perimenopause and menopause. I don't think there's enough research or awareness about what a woman can experience. So when I was sitting down to read this hypothetical case, we were given a university student who struggled with symptoms of low mood that was cyclical, so specifically around the week before their menstrual cycle, that's when things started to get difficult for them. So I was able to guess straight off the bat that they likely struggled with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or PMDD. And since April was PMDD Awareness Month, I'm going to leave some links if you want to read more about it down below. This client also significantly struggled to work with groups and wanted to avoid doing so, so I guess that they might also have social anxiety disorder, specifically performance-related anxiety. I knew that there was a high comorbidity with SAD and PMDD, so that's what helped me detect that. I think my research interest into women's health really helped me with this case. However, 1 hour to prep was definitely not a lot of time.
Just come back. I did a little sneaky grocery shop on the way back in to pick up some things, and that was not what I expected. That took me by surprise. Thankfully though, I guessed correctly. So I felt proud of myself. My professor told me that I passed, which is great. So that means I've now finished semester 1. It's done. Complete. Tick. Feels really good. And I am actually going to take a break. I'm going to go and read a book on the couch, and that is how I'm going to celebrate. It feels... I'm still processing it. It feels really weird to be done.